Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. So, today's video is quite personal. No tips today, just memories. So, I'm basically going to be sharing about my dad and the 10 things I've learned from him. If you've been listening to me, you would observe that most times through my experiences and my expertise, I share in tips. So even if I'm telling you about a story or something about myself, sometimes here and there, I get to just tip in tips and all. But today is not about tips. Today is just about just reminiscing about my dad. So a year ago, my dad passed, and yeah, just in case you don't know what he looks like, this is my dad. I will use the word was, even if in the true sense, it is this was my dad, but he still lives in me, and I love him. I will always love him. I'm blabbing, right? Pardon me. I just want to ensure that I don't get emotional while doing this video. So basically, it's been 1 year without dad in our lives. But when I was just giving this whole thing some thought, and I think one of those days I was just thinking about him, and I was like, okay, rather than think about, oh, I miss this, I miss that, or feel sad. Yes, it's okay every now and then I cry or I talk about him or I just pass look at his picture and say, oh, I miss you, daddy. And the kids will say, I miss you, grandpa. So basically, I just thought about it this way and I'm here to share with you. And the reason for sharing basically is just in case you've lost someone or lost something special and precious. One of the ways in which you can grieve that thing is basic, or which you can grieve the loss of that thing is by basically trying to think about what were you able to take out of that experience or out of that person. So when you are able to focus on what you were able to take out of that experience or that person, it has a way of recalibrating your mindset on how you can grieve your loss. So let me just get right into the main gist. I had to write it down. So just in case you see me looking down, I'm looking at what I wrote so that I don't forget. So one of the things I learned from my dad is love for reading. I read a lot. And thank God for technology now. In fact, I can remember when we were in school, when we were like my first book, okay, other than the one my dad bought for me when we were in primary school and during holidays in secondary school, because we always used to go to the bookshop. Like then we were in Lagos. I'm sure if my brothers are listening to this, they would remember, especially my elder brother, during the holiday. In fact, the holiday is not for playing or and sleeping and watching cartoon. Holiday is for reading novels. Daddy will go. We had a bookshelf. In fact, even bought an encyclopedia. And my brother, I never really read that encyclopedia from page one to the end. But my elder brother read that encyclopedia. In fact, and we were still in primary school, oh, if I can remember. Yes, we're in primary school when he bought that encyclopedia, bought Guinness Book of Records, buying novels, and would tell us we're supposed to read the novel during the course of the holiday and summarize the novel. Like, no, we'll play, oh, but it's not the one that you just be lazing around. Reading. He loved reading. In fact, he hated leisure. Anytime we're not seriously reading, he would tell us that we love leisure, we like leisure too much. And we'll be wondering, please, leisure, like, we don't understand. Is it bad to watch cartoon? I believe you will relate if you were in my generation, I think millennials or so. Yeah, where you're watching TV, then all of a sudden you hear your father's footsteps or the door or something, and you just fly and quickly put off the TV, lie down, and pick up a book and read. That's how it was for us. Like, daddy taught me the value of reading. I read a lot. When I want to know about something, I would go and gather books about it. I remember when I wanted to transition into homeschooling, I read I think I read up to 100 books because I was writing it down. I was writing as I'm reading the books, I would write the names down. At some point, I counted till I had to stop counting. But it was close to 100, if not up to 100 books on homeschooling I read. And I use the Everand app a lot when I read. I read a lot of audiobooks. I read ebooks also, but I love to also read audiobooks because it just helps me if I'm multitasking. But sometimes I may have to rewind if I want to get the main points. But there are some books definitely you can't read as audiobooks, books that you have to be taking notes. Those ones I read them as ebooks and all that. But reading, I learned reading from my father. And the next thing is confidence and being courageous. Like, my father was never a shy person. So when sometimes I feel shy and I remember my dad, I'm like, I really do not care. I would do it afraid, and however it comes out, I would do it because that was what I learned from him. My ability to show up confidently and courageously, not because I'm the best of the best in my own eyes, but because I am worth showing up and my voice ought to be heard. Like, my father never backed down from any situation. There was no situation that was too challenging for him that he couldn't face head on. So that was my dad for you. I remember this incident. I don't know, did I write a point like that? Like being a defender. He's this type of, like, he's a defender. Okay, I didn't write it, so let me talk about it here. With this incident, then we were in Lagos. I think someone bashed my mom's car or something, or someone insulted my mom. She was outside. I can't remember the scenario well. Maybe my brother would, but what I remember them, because we're still very small. We're under 10 years. We're small, but I just remember that there was something going on with my mom outside, and my dad was inside. And I think he started hearing someone talking at his wife and shouting, raising voices. Like, the way my dad came from outside and like defended my mom, stood by her, like, and like addressed the situation with so much confidence. Like, wow, I was wowed. My dad was a courageous man. He never backed down on anything, and I've learned that over the years, that even when I'm afraid, even when I feel incapable, even when I want to think, oh, what will people think, I would always tell my mom, I really do not care. That's my kind of person. Not like I don't care what people say, but like the general opinion about people really most times doesn't get to me. You are entitled to your opinion, that's fine. But that won't stop me from showing up when I have to show up and stand my ground, be courageous, be confident. And the truth is, you cannot even mess with me. Like, that's the kind of the way my dad was a no nonsense person. Like, I'm a no nonsense person. You can't even mess with me. Don't feel that you can just come and run me down and I'll be defeated. I'll always bounce back. Like, you get it? I got that spirit from my dad. So another thing I've learned from my dad is being a high flyer. Like, my father had no zero tolerance for mediocrity. I'm so happy I'm doing this video and I'm not getting emotional. I'm so happy. Because I think 2 or 3 days ago I was quite emotional and I've been procrastinating on doing this video, but I'm happy that I'm actually doing well. So back to it. He was a high flyer, like he's always on top. There's no place my dad enters that you will but not notice him. Not because he had 100% connect or or and all that, but he just knew how to take advantage of what he had at his disposal and stand out. He's not the type that he comes into a place and he will go sit at the back. No, he would find his way to the front. Though me, I'm a very humble person in quotes. So if me, I come gradually into a place, I'll just, oh no, I just want to sit behind. I want to be behind the scene. No, he's a high flyer. No room for mediocrity. So anytime that mediocrity spirit wants to enter me and I remember him, I'm like, no, no, no. You are not a mediocre. You are good at what you do, and you need to be confident and stand out. You are not in competition with anyone, but you shouldn't put yourself down. So, anything I do, I think of how to be the best at what I'm doing, how to start from where I am and grow and build into what I desire to be. Another thing I learned from my dad is he knew how to blow his trumpet. If you don't blow your trumpet, please, who will blow your trumpet for you? He will introduce himself. You know all these things where you're going in on a checkpoint or you're traveling by road, which travel by road a lot there, and a police officer stops to say, "Officer," he was actually a former customs officer. So he would greet the policeman. Ah, officer, how are you? Ah, do you know I'm your former colleague? I'm a former officer. He will blow his trumpet. Or he comes into a gathering and you give him the mic to speak. Hey, he doesn't talk for long, but man, he would speak with pride. You know that pride, like I know who I am. He knew how to blow his trumpet. He knew how not to look down on himself or try to feel defeated, but how to present himself in a way where he's regarded, he's respected. There is no place you go to my community, you call my dad's name, it is there. He knew how to blow his trumpet through his words, through his actions, through his courage. And that's one thing I also have learned and I'm still learning how to be confident as I am in whatever season of life I find myself, how to blow my trumpet. They will say it's packaging. You don't package what you are not. You know what you are, and you are confident in who you are, in what you are, and in what you represent. Another thing about him was he was a go getter. There is nothing my father will set his heart to do that he will not do it. As long as he has set his heart to do it. Positive, negative, right? But he was a goal getter. He was not one to procrastinate. And I've learned that from my dad. Like if I want to do, people that know me. If I set my heart to do something, I go for it. I got it from my dad. I just have it in mind. This is what I want to do. That when I say positive, negative, because there's a positive side to it, there's a negative side to it. Sometimes if you are set in your ways and maybe that way you are going is not right, and it will be hard to shift to you get, or your opinions, you have an opinion on something, it can be hard to convince you otherwise. But that's where having a spirit control temperament comes in. You know how to subdue your desires to the desire of the Holy Spirit, and it leads and it guides you. So having that goal getter mentality, I got it from my dad. Another thing is discipline to the highest order. Like over discipline. Discipline. When you say discipline, discipline like I am disciplined, then discipline like I will discipline you. The two of them. Hey, Jesus! We chop cane sha when we were growing up, abi. We chop cane oh. My father, hey! When he raises that his baritone voice and rouse. You know, I call him my Lion King actually, right? The lion sleeps well. Actually was the one that suggested this. Because I look at like he's a lion, the lion of the tribe of the Effiong dynasty. He is the lion. So like when he rouse, like when he comes and he descends, hey, everybody you must align. That's discipline. But also discipline in man, he was a principled man. Over principle, the warrior. Principle to the core. No, 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 no. He was also a man that He loved people to be treated fairly. He's not a biased person. I think that's the word. If he thinks you deserves a thing, he gives it to you and you must earn it. He was liberal, but not without discipline. I think that's the word. He was liberal. So you deserve something, he would give it to you. You come to him for help. You have to prove to him why you deserve to be helped, and he will help you. Then he would teach you also, not just to help you, but how to also be able to stand independent. So I learned that discipline, to be principled, to be disciplined, to be organized. My father would say, he will wake up in the morning and tell you, we are going out by 7 o'clock. You better be at that car before 7, because once it's 7, it's gonna leave you and you must find your way. So another thing I've learned from my dad is basically physical activity. Like, my dad was not sedentary, and I've learned the importance of that, because I too I make sure in everything I do. In fact, the way I walk, when people look at me, how you bounce, like that energy. So my dad. So yes, just that physical activity. Even when he was down in health, like towards the end of his life, he would still go on his morning walks. He was a very fit, energetic person. Like, he had that energy in him, and man, I got that also from him. So just learning the importance of physical fitness, not being sedentary, doing things for yourself. He liked to do things for himself. He just didn't like people helping him to do his things. He would always want to do things for himself. So another thing is being sacrificial. My dad actually was a very sacrificial person. To outsiders, some felt like he wasn't so much. You know how sometimes people could be where they want to demand and they expect so much, they have so much expectations of you and want you to always meet their demand and their lifestyle. He wasn't like that. But if my dad wants to help you, he will help you. And if he feels you deserve that help, trust me, you will get it. So, yes, my dad was very, very sacrificial. And I've also learned that not to be tight fisted, to be more liberal, to give. I've learned that from him. Also, investing in people. I know many people miss my dad because he invested in a lot of people. In fact, when we were starting from my house, like our house, I grew up with like three aunties in the house. I grew up with them, but we had other people. There were other people that didn't necessarily have to live with us that he helped. At some point, you will help this one, you will help this one child, help this one child. He sent a lot of people to school, he invested in a lot of people, he helped a lot of people, he did things for people. And when he passed, that was one thing that when people spoke about him, even up to the villagers, the people that were not within his social circle, he always extended and helping. And for his people, they even gave him a chieftaincy title because he did things for his community, he did things for his people, he helped a lot of people. So just about giving back, not just necessarily living life for only yourself. My dad would say something like, if whether he wears clothes or he has shoes and all those things doesn't really matter, but how much people can he invest in and help? So if you look at my dad, he didn't acquire so much for himself, maybe other than like properties and all, but like he didn't acquire, oh, he has series of clothes, series of shoes, series of this, series of that. He didn't, but he invested his money, his resources into being a helping hand and investing in people's lives. And also hard work, like I told you that my dad said we like leisure too much. He was a hard worker. Hard work. Like, he hates laziness. Laziness repels him. He was a hard worker. Hard worker. He loved hard work. He will always tell us hard work doesn't kill anybody. And of a truth, yes. So that culture of hard work, I learned it from him. That diligence to put your head down and do the work, not to want things to be handed down to you. So even if he had the the opportunity to hand things down to us. We had to work for it to be able to get it. So I learned hard work from my dad. And one bonus point is to be independent. Like, my dad never liked to depend on people. Even up until his dying day, he would want. I remember in the hospital, I was trying to feed him. He would collect the spoon and say, "No, I can't do it by myself." That's how the level of how he loved to be independent. And he will want to empower you to be independent. So even if you come to him for help, he will help you. But to be repeatedly coming to him for help, rather, he would empower you to be of help to yourself and to stand on your own. And that was one thing he wanted for each and every one of us as his kids. He wanted us to be independent. He didn't want us to depend too much on people. He wanted us to be able to stand on our own. And I've learned that a lot. Like, if you come close and you know me, I do my best to do things for myself. Yes, if I have support, yes, if I need support, I ask for it, but I don't position myself to the point that I have to be totally dependent, whether it's physically, financially, spiritually, emotionally, on anybody. And I learned that from my dad. So I'm grateful to God for the privilege of the Father He gave me and for the opportunities I had to glean from His words of wisdom, His knowledge, and life generally. I miss my dad. I never thought I would miss him as much as I do. I never thought that even after like close to a year of his passing, there are sometimes I still shed a tear, but it's all good and it's what it is. I thank God for everything. And this is just an encouragement to you out there. If you still have your loved ones present with you here on earth, it's an opportunity for you to build relationship. Ask yourself, if your loved one passes today, what would you remember them for? What would you have learned from them? Don't use the opportunities you should have for bonding and learning to be having a discord or a quarrel or a misunderstanding. When there is a rift, do your best to ensure that you mend whatever fences have been broken and you live in peace. Thank you for listening to me today. See you in my next video. Remember to subscribe also. Bye.